I have 3 options for you, and this one, number 1, is the single crochet version. Joining option number 2 is the back loop only slip stitch. And option number 3 is the continuous join as you go method. Hello everyone. Today I'm going to show you how to join your granny squares or crochet squares when you're wanting to make a blanket. Number 1 is the single crochet version. Firstly, we're going to do the single crochet join. The slip knot on my hook, I'm going to turn my work. I like to have the work side on, always working from right to left. So you're going to need to pick up your 2 squares. Make sure both the corners are next to each other, and then you simply go through the corner the best. We have different stitches, so we just have to do our best with our joining methods. So hook through both sides, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through both 2 loops on your hook, popping our hook in one side and the other. We've got backs facing together, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, hook in. Try to get 2 stitches, not just one, because when you do one, it works out loopy and it just doesn't look good. So work your way in going under 2 stitches each time. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Hook in under 2, hook in, pull through, yarn over, pull through. Okay, hook in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Hook, hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. And this is how we do our single crochet join. From the front too. You can do a single crochet from the back if you just want to see minimal stitches. It looks like the whip stitch from the top when you do a single crochet from the back. One more and I'll show you what this looks like. Okay, let's lay this one out. Take this off. Neaten that up a bit. And there you have your single crochet join. It's a nice neat little join. Leaves a little ridge if you would like that look. I'm coming to the end of my first squares. I'm going into the corner of each one, making my single crochet. Now what we need to do is pick up the next 2 squares, place their corners together, and we simply move from the right hand side squares to the left. So popping your hook through the 2 corners of the left hand side squares, making that single crochet. So we've formed a little bridge there. Let me show you. So let me place this round how it should look. There we go. And now I'll go off and finish this so I can then show you the horizontal work. This is what the back of our work looks like. So if you wanted to do your single crochet on the back, you would have these stitches on the front. Now with the slip knot on your hook, we're going to pick up our squares, lining the corners up, and start with a single crochet in the horizontal corner. Now to work our way across, being as conscious as we can of stitch placement and of working under 2 stitches each time. Well, 2 stitches on each side, that is. When you're doing this with your whole blanket, I suggest that you do one direction first. do all your verticals first or all your horizontals first. Then you come back and do the other direction. Now I'm 1 stitch away from crossing over this little bridge. So we'll make this single crochet here, and then I am going to go into the corner of the 2 squares that we're holding on to on the right hand side. So we're nice and close. Then we just jump over to the corner of the other side. 1 and 2. Let me just do a few stitches and then I'll show you what that looks like. Just pull that out a bit, and you can see here how we have jumped over that little bridge. Yep, looks good. Okay, I'll finish off this row, and that is joining method number 1 using the single crochet. Joining option number 2 is the back loop only slip stitch. Option number 2 is a slip stitch into the back loop only. For this type of join, I'm going to have to turn my work over. So back side's facing up, and also I twist them as well, just a bit onto the diagonal. You need to have a slip knot on your hook, picking up 2 squares and making it so you can look down upon them. So we're going to pop our hook into the back of 1 stitch, which really is tricky on the corners because our stitches aren't all the same and they don't have the V's across the top like our standard granny squares do. So pop your hook through, just 1 loop of each, yarn over, pull through, pull that left loop through the right hand loop on your hook. That's your first slip stitch. Now finding 1 more stitch to work under, and same on the other side, yarn over, pull through, pull the left one through the right. Under 1 stitch on the back, under another, oops, I got 2 there. Yarn over, pull through, then pull through the one on your hook. Under 1 stitch, under the other, pull through the loop on your hook. If you're wanting the effect of an invisible join, this is the one for you. Okay, we'll do a few more and I'll show you what it looks like on the other side. Getting a little bit of a pattern going here now. And the same will happen with each square. Once you figure out the different stitches and know where to place your hook, you'll build up a little bit of speed. There, pull through and pull through. Okay, let's have a look here. This is what the invisible join is looking like. Okay, so the squares are butting up next to each other without very much stitching to be seen. So that is your back loop only slip stitch. Let me keep going and I'll get to this join and show you what we do there. I'm now working into the last stitch of these squares. So right in the corner, pull your yarn through, pull the left loop through the right. Now we're going to do the same thing. Pick up our other squares, join the corners together. We're simply going to take our work over to the other side. The action really happens when you do the horizontal joining. So through 1 loop each, pulling through the loop on the right. Through one, pull through, pull through. Okay, there we go. I'm going to finish this off in this direction, then I'll be able to show you what we do in the horizontal manner. Here we have our vertical row done, and it looks lovely and neat too. Now to do the horizontal. We've got the front side showing here. We need to flip our work and I pop it on a little bit of an angle. Remembering for this option 2, do all your verticals first and then your horizontals, or vice versa. Just don't try and work in and around all the squares. It just doesn't work that way. So slip knot on your hook, picking up these 2 corners, and again searching for those back loops. One back loop and another. Yarn over your hook, pull through, pull the left loop through the right. Looking for a back loop. Again, it's a bit tricky around the corner area because you've also got yarn ends woven in these places too. Here we go, just do the best you can, and once you get away from the corner, you'll find you'll be on an easier run. Back loop, yarn over, pull through. One more. Back loop and back loop, yarn over, pull through. So here we have our nice neat join on the horizontal. Let me go and finish this off and meet you at the middle section first. We're up near the junction of our corners. Got 1 stitch to go. And I'm going to work into that corner. That's the front square. Now the back. Pull a loop through. Now I'm going to jump straight over this and work into the other side. There's 2 nice easy back loops there just waiting for me. Okay, so we've just crisscrossed one over top of the other. Then you're on your way. Here we go, let's have a little look. And that is your invisible finish by using the back loop only slip stitch method. Option number 3 is the continuous join as you go method. Now I have a really comprehensive tutorial on this way back in my tutorial at number 28. So go and watch that one first and you'll be well equipped to dive into this to be able to join these squares with that same method. The continuous join as you go method uses granny clusters and you need to work in a set pattern. So you would start up at the top right corner, work across, then you go down the left side of the first square. You jump over and you go up the right side of the next. Across the top, down the left hand side, jumping over, up the right hand side, across the top of square number 3. Then you'll be working down the left hand side and you will come across the bottom of all 3 squares. You'll jump across to the top of this one, to the top right corner, then you'll work across here, turn and come down the left. Jump across, working your way up the right, across the top, down the left, jump across, up the right, across the top, then you'll work down the left of this square. Then you will come across the bottom of these squares and begin the same process again. So if we stick with the same method that we would use for a granny square, we can see along the top and the bottom where you can skip 2 stitches and work into the 3rd. It's just the sides that are a bit more tricky. So just do the best that you can to space them out evenly enough. Yep, we're fudging again. All right, we're going to start in this corner. I start with a full corner because then I meet up here at the end once we've done all our blanket. So we're going to do 3 double crochets, 1, 2 and 3, chain 1, because that's just how many chains I like to do. You can do 2 if you prefer. Then another cluster of 3 double crochet. Now I'm going to skip 2 and do a cluster of 3 double crochet. So this is easy because it's got nice and even stitches along the top. Skip 2, work into that 3rd stitch and 3. Now working down this side, we need to space it out, pretending we're skipping 1 and 2 and working into a spot that feels like the 3rd. I need to go under 2, that's it, 2 loops of yarn, not 1, because the 1 gets too loose and gapey. Okay, so there's 1 and 2 will go under here. That feels right. 1, 2 and 3 double crochet. One more, so 1 and 2, I'm going into here. I've managed to do 6 clusters just like we have across the top. Now we're going to do half of a corner. So in this corner space, we're just going to do 3 double crochets. 1, it's a little bit difficult, 2 and 3. Now what we do is jump across to this corner and do a 3 double crochet cluster here. So you'll need to pick up both of your squares, yarn over on your hook, pop your hook in the corner of the next square and do 3 double crochets. Now the fun begins. We've done 1 cluster here, so we're going to pop our hook through the first space between the clusters on the other side. Okay, so hook through, pull a loop through and pull that loop through the one on your hook. Yarning over to make our next cluster. So skipping 1 and 2, and we're going to work in here, 1, 2 and 3, making 1 cluster. Then we're going to do a slip stitch into the next available space between those 2 clusters on the other square. So hook in, pull up a loop, pull that loop through the one on your hook. Yarn over, skip 1 and 2, find an area that feels like about skipping 3 stitches, 1, 2 and 3 double crochets. Moving along, pop your hook into the next space, pull that loop through, pull it through the one on your hook. 3, let's count how many clusters we've made. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is perfect because we need 6, not including the corners. So we're going to do our slip stitch first through that space. Skip 1, 2 and make a cluster. 1, 2 and 3. Now slip stitch into the next space, pull it through the loop on your hook. Now we come up to the corner. We're going to do 3 double crochet. So making 1 cluster first on this corner. After working up the side of our second square and joining our clusters to the ones on the left of our first square, we've done half of our corner, and we're now going to do a slip stitch through that chain 1 corner space. Pull your loop through, pull it through the loop on your hook. Now go back to that corner and do 3 more double crochets. 1, 2 and 3. And there you have square number 1 and number 2 joined. I'm going to whiz across the top of this one before I get to the next side. Now I've managed to do 6 clusters across the top, not including the corners. So it's the same amount as I've done on the other square. So that's going great. We need to keep up now working 6 clusters in between all the corners. I've worked down the left hand side of my second square. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 clusters. Well done. 1 cluster in the corner. Now we're not going to finish off that corner with a second one because we're going to jump over to our next square. So picking up your work, grab your next square, yarn over and pop your hook into the corner and do 1 cluster. 1, 2 and 3 double crochets. Now popping your hook into that very first space to do a slip stitch. Now counting 1, 2 and about 3. Yep, that looks pretty good. Making another cluster. Slip stitching into the next space on the square on the other side. 1, 2 and about 3. Doing another cluster. Making one last cluster, that's number 6. Slip stitch over to the space in the other square. Now we're going to do 1 cluster in the corner. 1, 2 and 3. Now we do a slip stitch into the chain 1 space of the corner opposite to where we're working. Now straight back into that corner with another granny cluster. So 3 double crochets there. Okay, you're getting the drift of what we're achieving here. Going down and up, across, down and up. And we're joining with slip stitches as we go. Done 6 clusters across the top, a corner, 6 more clusters down the side, a corner. Now don't be tempted to connect this row of squares just yet. So coming across the bottom of the first row of squares, 6 more clusters. I'm going to show you how we get across here because we need to join with a slip stitch into this space here. Picking up your work and turning it around. So we're working across the bottom of row 1. I've done my 6 clusters and you've already got 1/2 of the corner here. So that's 3 double crochets in the corner space. So I'm going to pop my hook into that corner space and do 3 more double crochets. 1, 2 and 3. Now we come to the area where we need to slip stitch into this space. So pop your hook in, pull up a loop, pull that left loop through the one on the right. Now you can either do a chain 1 here and then continue on, or you can continue on without that chain 1. That's completely your preference. I do a chain 1 because you'll find that it's a little bit tight to get to. So then I come into that same corner from this square because half of it's already made and do 3 double crochets. Now we have joined both of the bottom corners. So we're going to whiz along and do 6 more clusters along here. I've done 6 clusters along the bottom and I've met back up to our corner. We already have half of our corner made here. So pop your hook into that same corner space and do 3 more double crochets. Now we're going to pop the hook into this space here, pull a loop through and pull it through the one on your hook. Chain 1 and then do the other half of the corner in that same corner space on the next square. There we have our next corner done. Now we're going to whiz across again and do 6 double crochet clusters. With 6 clusters done along the bottom, we're just going to do half of a corner in this first square corner. So just 3 double crochets. What we have to do here is now jump over and do half of a corner on the top right of the next row of squares. Okay, then we do 6 clusters along, but all the time we're going to be joining by a slip stitch into these spaces. Okay, picking up your work, let's make 3 double crochets into the top right corner of the next square. 1, 2 and 3. Before we move on, we're going to do a slip stitch into that first space. Hook in, pull a loop through, pull the loop through the one on your hook. Skip 1 and 2, do another cluster. One, 2 and 3. Into the next space with a slip stitch. Skip 1, 2 and work another cluster. I've done my 6 clusters along the top, joining with a slip stitch as I go. Now I've done 1 cluster in the top left corner of the square. I need to do a slip stitch into the corner diagonally across, okay, over here, before I move on and finish that corner. So picking up your work, find the square that is diagonal from where you're working, pop your hook into that corner space, pull a loop through and pull it through the one on your hook. Now you can yarn over, hook back into that corner and finish it off with 3 more double crochets. Then all we do for this one is whiz down the side with our clusters. I've done 6 clusters down here. I've done half of my corner here. Now I'm going to skip over onto the next square and do 1 cluster. So half of the corner. Now that I've done up the right side of this square, I've done 1 cluster in the corner. I need to find the square that's diagonally across and do a slip stitch into that space. So picking up your work, pulling apart the corner on the square that's opposite, pop your hook in, pull a loop through, pull it through the one on your hook. Now you can make the rest of your corner with 3 more double crochet in that same corner space. 6 double crochet clusters joined with a slip stitch and half of a corner made. Now we're going to do a slip stitch into the square that is diagonally opposite, like so. Turn your work. Now we're going to finish off this corner with 1 more cluster, 2 and 3, and we're going to whiz down the left hand side. Clusters down that left hand side, half of a corner. Now we're going to jump over to the next square and join into that bottom right corner with 3 double crochets. Now we're going to slip stitch into the space on the opposite side, skip 1, 2 and do a cluster into the 3rd stitch. Now we're up to this 4-way corner where we need to slip stitch into the square diagonally across. So picking up your work, finding that square, pop your hook underneath, pull through the stitch on your hook and make another double crochet cluster into that same corner space. Now slip stitching into the next space on the square on the other side, skipping 1, 2 and working a cluster into the 3rd stitch of this last square. Slip stitch into the top, 1, 2 and 3. I've done my 6 clusters along the bottom. Now we need to connect into this slip stitch area here. Pick up your work, turn it around. Yarn over and do 3 double crochets, 2 and 3. Now to complete the corner, we do a slip stitch into this space. Pull through. Now you can either chain 1 or not, and now complete the other corner with 3 double crochets into that corner space. 1, 2 and 3. Now whiz along this square with your 6 clusters, and we'll do the same thing to this corner here. Here we are. I've done my 6 clusters. I've done my corner cluster. I just need to slip stitch into that space. Do my next cluster on the corner to finish that off. And then we just crochet granny clusters along here, round the corner and up this side of our blanket. We're homeward bound on this row, but what we have to do here is another cluster, slip stitch into this space, and then another cluster to finish off both the corners. Then we just do 6 more clusters up the side of the square, and we can finish off our work with an invisible finish. Here we have our finished piece of work using the continuous join as you go method. It actually works up nice and quick, and I think it's the method I'm going to use for my blanket. I will see you again in a few days' time once I've joined all my squares together and will come up with a lovely border. Until then, happy crocheting everyone. Bye for now.